The most powerful force shaping your life is not your environment, your education, or your circumstances, but the hidden part of your mind that works silently in the background every second of your existence, because whether you realize it or not, your subconscious mind is constantly accepting instructions, forming habits, directing behavior, and shaping outcomes based on what you repeatedly think, feel, and believe. The conscious mind may decide what you want, but the subconscious mind decides what you get, and this is why so many people work hard, stay busy, and yet remain stuck in the same patterns year after year, repeating the same mistakes, attracting the same problems, and wondering why effort alone never seems to be enough. The subconscious mind does not reason, argue, or judge, it simply accepts whatever is impressed upon it and works tirelessly to make that impression real, which means every thought you entertain, every word you speak about yourself, and every emotion you repeatedly feel becomes a command that the subconscious mind tries to obey. This is why two people can face the same situation and experience completely different results, because their subconscious programming is different, and it is this hidden programming, often formed in childhood, reinforced by repetition, and strengthened by emotion, that determines confidence or fear, success or failure, health or illness, and abundance or scarcity. The subconscious mind functions like fertile soil, and your conscious thoughts are the seeds, because soil does not question what you plant, it simply grows whatever it receives, whether it is useful or destructive, which explains why people who constantly think about failure unconsciously create obstacles, while those who consistently imagine success begin to notice opportunities that others overlook. Every experience you have ever had leaves an impression on the subconscious mind, and unless those impressions are consciously replaced, they continue to influence behavior long after the original event has passed, shaping habits, reactions, and expectations without your awareness. This is why affirmations, visualization, and repetition work when done correctly, not because they are magical, but because they reprogram the subconscious through consistent suggestion, gradually replacing limiting beliefs with empowering ones, much like updating outdated software that no longer serves your goals. The subconscious mind controls bodily functions, emotional responses, memory storage, creativity, and automatic behavior, which means it is deeply connected to your health as well as your success, and when you repeatedly dwell on fear, stress, or resentment, the subconscious accepts those emotions as normal and expresses them physically through tension, fatigue, or illness. On the other hand, when you consistently impress the subconscious with thoughts of calm, confidence, and gratitude, the body responds by moving toward balance and vitality, demonstrating that healing and well-being are closely linked to mental patterns rather than chance alone. One of the most important principles to understand is that the subconscious mind operates primarily through feeling rather than logic, which is why emotionally charged thoughts have a much stronger impact than casual ones, and why beliefs formed during intense emotional experiences tend to last longer and influence behavior more deeply. This is also why repetition combined with emotion is the most effective way to reprogram the subconscious, because what you feel deeply, you become, and what you repeatedly imagine with conviction begins to shape your reality through altered perception, decision-making, and action. The subconscious mind works continuously, day and night, whether you are awake or asleep, and during sleep the conscious mind relaxes its critical guard, allowing suggestions to pass more easily into the subconscious, which is why thoughts before sleep are especially powerful and why reviewing positive intentions or visualizing desired outcomes at night can accelerate change. Faith, in this context, is not blind belief but a mental attitude of acceptance, because when the subconscious accepts an idea as true, it mobilizes internal resources to support it, guiding intuition, influencing behavior, and aligning actions toward its fulfillment. This explains why people who expect failure often sabotage opportunities without realizing it, while those who expect success tend to act with confidence, persistence, and resilience, even when facing obstacles. The subconscious mind communicates through intuition, instincts, emotions, and sudden insights, often providing solutions when the conscious mind stops forcing outcomes, which is why moments of relaxation, creativity, and insight often occur when pressure is released rather than intensified. Learning to trust the subconscious does not mean abandoning reason, but understanding that reason must work in harmony with deeper mental processes rather than against them, because excessive worry, doubt, and overthinking block the natural flow of subconscious intelligence. One of the greatest obstacles to using the subconscious mind effectively is negative self-talk, because every time you say, "I can't," "I'm not good enough," or "this never works for me," you are issuing a command that the subconscious dutifully accepts and reinforces, shaping behavior to match that instruction. This is why changing language is not superficial but foundational, because words carry emotional meaning and repeated statements become beliefs that guide action automatically. The subconscious mind does not distinguish between imagined and real experiences, which is why visualization is such a powerful tool, because when you vividly imagine an outcome with emotion and clarity, the subconscious responds as if the event were already occurring, adjusting behavior, confidence, and perception accordingly. Athletes, performers, and high achievers have long used this principle to rehearse success mentally before it happens physically, strengthening neural pathways that support skill and confidence. However, the subconscious mind must be approached with patience rather than force, because trying to change deeply ingrained beliefs through willpower alone often creates resistance, while gentle repetition, relaxed focus, and emotional acceptance allow new ideas to take root naturally. This is why stress and desperation often block manifestation and progress, because they reinforce the belief that something is missing or difficult, while calm expectation signals acceptance and readiness. Gratitude plays a powerful role in subconscious reprogramming because it shifts attention from lack to abundance, training the subconscious to focus on what is already working, which in turn influences perception to notice more opportunities, resources, and solutions. The subconscious mind also plays a central role in habit formation, because once a behavior is repeated enough times, it becomes automatic, freeing conscious attention but also making change more difficult unless the underlying belief is addressed. This explains why people can intellectually understand what they should do yet fail to act, because the subconscious is still operating on outdated instructions that conflict with conscious goals. To change results, you must change the subconscious pattern, not just the conscious desire. Prayer, meditation, and quiet reflection work not because of ritual, but because they calm the conscious mind and allow new ideas to penetrate the subconscious without resistance, creating space for insight, healing, and transformation. When the subconscious mind is impressed with constructive ideas, it begins to reorganize experiences, attract helpful circumstances, and influence decisions in ways that appear coincidental but are actually the result of internal alignment. This does not mean life becomes effortless or free of challenges, but it does mean challenges are approached with clarity, confidence, and resilience rather than fear and confusion. One of the most liberating realizations is that the subconscious mind is neutral. It does not punish or reward, it simply follows instructions, which means past mistakes do not condemn you, they only reflect previous programming that can be changed. By consciously choosing thoughts, emotions, and mental images that support growth, you begin to reclaim authority over your inner world, and as your inner world changes, your outer experiences gradually follow. The power of the subconscious mind lies not in controlling external events directly, but in shaping perception, behavior, and response, which ultimately determines outcomes over time. When you align conscious intention with subconscious belief, effort becomes more focused, decisions become clearer, and persistence becomes natural rather than forced. Understanding this principle removes self-blame and replaces it with responsibility, because instead of seeing failure as a personal flaw, you recognize it as feedback from the subconscious that points to beliefs that need adjustment. This awareness transforms personal growth from a struggle into a process, where patience, consistency, and self-compassion become tools rather than obstacles. The subconscious mind responds best to clarity, simplicity, and consistency, which is why simple affirmations repeated daily often outperform complex strategies applied inconsistently. Over time, these small mental shifts accumulate, altering identity, behavior, and results in ways that feel gradual but become profound. The true power of the subconscious mind is not in instant miracles, but in long-term transformation, because when you change the instructions guiding your life, you change the direction it moves, and once that direction shifts, momentum carries you forward naturally. Mastering the subconscious mind is not about controlling every thought, but about choosing which thoughts you return to, which emotions you cultivate, and which beliefs you allow to define you, because what you consistently accept as true eventually becomes your experience. When you understand this, you stop fighting yourself and start working with your own mind, turning it from an unconscious obstacle into a powerful ally that supports health, confidence, creativity, and success, proving that the greatest change you can ever make begins not in the world around you, but in the hidden depths of your own mind.